We're rolling.
Be quiet, Jack.
Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for Nerdbuzzed.
Nerdbuzzed doesn't condone the consumption of alcohol by any persons under the age of 21. Please drink responsibly.
Welcome to Nerdbuzzed, the podcast where we talk about all the nerdy stuff that we care about and drink a cool frosty brew
Ginger.
while we're doing it. Just giving a shout out to the redheads.
No, I just
Oh.
no, like ginger
Hall
beer.
monitors.
Yeah, right.
I figure I might as well be the beginning of this episode. Now.
I'm your host, Marcus Ellinger, and with me as always,
Jeremiah Johnson.
and to the left of me, the intern.
Jack Hughes.
So, we're just gonna keep drinking the beer we drank the previous episode.
Which is Rogue Dead Guy.
Balls.
6.8% Rogue Brewery, Newport, Oregon. All right, anyway.
Yeah, so this is gonna be a lot of fun because we've already had a couple. Reset our timer, Jack. Do your job, or I'll fire you again. You're lucky that you have a lot of job security because there's nobody to take your place yet. Come on, you gotta be smarter than the timer. Just
Yeah, I don't
click
know
it to
if I
stop
am.
it,
You guys keep talking. I'll figure it out.
and then hit it both at the same time.
Oh, there we go.
Okay.
Wow.
Welcome to Nerdbuzz. So, last episode, we did talk about Red Dead and the new trailer, how excited we are, our concerns. We talked about Marvel Heroes Omega. And we forgot to mention how excited we are for our new Nerd Play for the month.
Yes.
So, we are going to play MGS
5.
5. I'm actually a little bit stunned that this is a free game,
Yeah, me too.
Why are we still here?
right?
Just to suffer. You guys see
tomorrow.
that meme? Where it's this weird guy. People like hire him to say stuff, and it's funny. But he's like said why are we still here? Just to suffer, and he did it in like this really funny voice.
I guess, should we just address that? Who's better? I don't even know the original actor's name.
Daniel Hayden.
Hader or whatever? Is that who did the original Metal Gear?
Yeah.
Because now it's Kiefer Sutherland.
Yeah.
It's not him.
No,
I kind of
Hader was in.
I think
4,
Sutherland
right?
did
I
an
think-
okay job.
I think Sutherland did a great job.
Yeah, but I just kind of missed that original voice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was very iconic.
Yes. So we're gonna play Metal Gear Solid 5, and and it's kind of serendipitous. Is that the right word for it? Does that apply?
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah. Is that too fancy?
In a roundabout way, yeah.
In a roundabout way, in a serendipitous way.
David
There you go.
Hayter.
David Hayter, that's
Yeah.
his name. I as soon as you said Hayter, I did recognize it. But
Snake.
it's
Snake.
the
No.
Snake.
Yeah.
Can love happen on the battlefield? You play the game, it can. Unless you approach a stone that's about 2 inches big, or you have to drive a vehicle, then love does not happen. There's not. It's a Jeep. It's a military Jeep. There's no back seat. There's not enough room. But
But it's a bench up front.
I guess you're right. The window goes down, so I mean you got all sorts of room. But we're gonna play it. It's the first game. It's our very first episode. The first game we ever reviewed and we talked about on our show.
that'd be cool.
Yeah, it's kinda
in
cool to do a
October.
throwback. Yeah, and even in October. So it's kind of cool. See, that's why it's serendipitous.
Yes,
right?
it is.
Okay.
That is why it's
That's
That's
a big
why it
word.
all.
Yeah.
See, I was trying to be fancy. That's what you get after 3 beer Marcus. Just ask my wife. But
I don't know. You don't have the That Guy shirt on yet.
not yet. But I am that guy. I'm gonna get a hat that just says that guy with an arrow that
That
points
guy.
down.
Yeah, but you already got the shirt that says that.
I don't. I need
I thought
it.
you did.
No, I need to make it.
Oh, I thought you did have it.
I have been procrastinating because I'm that guy.
Are we gonna?
Exactly.
Are we gonna cheer?
We are gonna cheer.
yeah.
But we're getting our way around to it. Okay.
Get
Hey,
around to it.
Come on, intern.
there you go.
Yeah.
Shout out to first episode with me
Yeah.
in it. Oh, we're all full circle.
Oh, this is so sweet.
Full circle.
We're all gonna pause for a moment and hug, and then we'll come back. Okay, we're back. So, play Metal Gear Solid 5 with us.
Yeah.
It was our game of the year.
Yes,
I
it was.
believe 2015.
Yeah.
Right. So we totally said it as the game of the year. I think
It was
everybody absolutely
amazing.
needs to play it.
You know,
I'm
it actually got Game of the Year, though, that year.
what?
Witcher 3.
Also a phenomenal game.
Yes.
And both of which now Metal Gear's free, I know, but you could have bought that I think for like $25 on the store. Like it came down a lot in price, and so did the The Witcher 3, which is so worth it. That game,
Yeah.
they're both phenomenal.
I need to
games.
play. I need to play it.
It's really good.
Burnt out in open
Witcher
world.
3 is incredibly in depth.
Yeah.
Yeah,
There's a
well,
lot to
and
do.
because you'll relate to this because we're both the OCD people. There's so much things to do on the map, and I believe that my brother was telling me, don't get them all because they just come back again. So like the main stories and it's hard to pick which ones will and won't come back, right? But they just keep coming back.
I can't. Yeah, that would.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll just. I can't ignore everything. I can't.
I really struggle with that
how
too.
I do.
And then I get burnt out on the game because
Yeah.
it doesn't allow me to satisfy my own
Yeah.
Getting angry at
That's
Mad
what I
Max.
do.
anxieties.
Oh my god.
Yeah. So, but play Metal Gear Solid 5. It's phenomenal. It's such a good game. I'm astonished that this game is coming out for free and we all get it. In a way, I think this is a little bit of hype to get people re-excited about it because I think that Metal Gear Survive or whatever is probably right
zombie
around the
one.
corner. I'm actually kind of looking forward to it. I think it might be kind of fun to play online.
I'm not
I'm
gonna.
not.
I'm
I
not
think it's
gonna
only like
support
$20 or
tactics.
something, right? Isn't that what they said?
I don't care.
You're not going to play
I'm
it?
really not that interested.
I bet we get it free eventually if we
But
wait 2 years.
If Kojima's
Well, yeah.
not working on it, then it's not Metal Gear.
Well, I'm just wondering what game did they have already in the works that they just reskinned
Yeah, I don't
and
know.
retitled Metal Gear?
I don't know. I
Resident
wonder,
Evil.
like, was this even started while Kojima was still with Konami? Was
If
this
it-
an
if-
idea that
if-
he
if
had,
it
or like,
was, I bet you doubt it was his idea.
Yeah.
it's them trying to now capitalize on the
Zombies.
Yeah,
Kojima made
Zombies
us
and
money. What do
Kojima.
we do now? Zombies.
but again, I think I'm really curious to see the Death Stranding, which is just
Yeah.
the Kojima game. But I'm curious to see how much of Metal Gear was amazing because of Kojima and because of Konami. Because it was like there was like a balance going on there.
How
when,
much of
when those all came out?
How much did it have somebody reining him in?
Yeah, like how much of that game was Konami coming in and going like, okay, Kojima, no, I get it. It's a really awesome idea, and we're going to implement these things, but let's reel it in because it needs to come out this year, right?
Yeah.
Like, would his games just be like 50 hours of just pure dialogue codec conversations and like 2 little levels, or like what would have happened with that game if it wouldn't have been for Konami stepping in?
I wonder if it's gonna be a lot like PT. I really hope so. I loved PT.
Yeah.
That game messed with me.
Which you have.
Yeah, I still have
PT.
You
it.
can't delete it. That's
No,
one thing
no.
you can never delete
No,
off your
yeah.
PlayStation because you can't even download it.
Yeah,
People are selling
sucks.
PlayStations for over $1,000 that have that on it.
What
Yeah.
is PT?
It's a demo that came out. Who's the other guy that did it?
Guillermo del Toro.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and so okay, it was.
Wait,
it
that was who was supposed to team up with him with Death Stranding.
Yeah.
I don't think he's working
which-
on it. I know he's
no,
like a
he-
character in it now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay.
But so fun fact about PT, it actually had I think the art director or something was one of my favorite manga artists of all time. This guy named Junji Ito. Right, he draws and writes some terrifying stuff, and you could really see it. And I really hope he's
Snatch.
working.
He did Snatch, didn't he?
I don't know.
Guillermo del Toro.
I think.
He
So-
did Pan's Labyrinth, the one with like.
Oh, that's right. That's
With
what it
that
was.
brutal stab in the eyeball scene.
Yes.
Oh my god,
I
that
love
just
that.
made my gut turn.
Yeah.
Then and now.
How long did you watch that movie before you realized you weren't reading the subtitles but still understanding everything that went on?
I don't remember. Yeah, I don't remember that.
Well, it was they were on there.
gonna
but
have to watch it again now.
They didn't have to turn them on. They just were part of it.
Oh no! Well, I watched it like online or this
Oh.
weird online version that was all messed up.
Yeah.
Because you're this generation and you ruin stuff with YouTube.
No, it's
But
like,
sub-
you don't
but
watch
like
it on
and
YouTube,
subscribe.
you don't, like, 10 million subscribers.
Wow, you're as red as his hat.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're getting sidetracked. Okay, let's bring it back. Where were we? Blade Runner.
Bring it. Are we going there already? Are you done
Think
talking
so.
about Metal Gear?
I mean,
Other than that, it's amazing. It's one of my favorite games of all time.
It is.
And I love it. I think it's one of the best like continued sequel games ever because it reinvents itself but stays true to its classic audience every single time.
that's good.
I am excited though to get the Woozy sniper rifle back out and just start clearing the map.
Yeah, and when I think I beat the game, but I haven't done all the little like variations of missions and stuff. So I'll dive into some of those, and I'm excited to blow the dust off this game. And
I am
it'll
too.
actually be really cool that I won't even have to put the disc in.
Yeah.
Right? I've enjoyed that with my games, but I love my little wall of games I got, so I'm really torn on. I haven't made the commitment to all digital games yet.
Yeah, I
don't
don't think I'll ever do it because I really like having that physical copy.
Me too.
Just to be able to like Yeah, and it sucks that my PS4 stack isn't as big, but I mean a lot of my games are the PS Plus ones, so
Yeah. I was amazed talking about that digital stuff. I have a ton. I didn't realize how many digital games I actually had on my PS3.
Yeah,
I knew I had a bunch, but I had way more than I thought.
when I was looking at my list of like my Sense Getting Plus, and whatever other digital things I purchased, I'm pretty sure a few hundred titles. Like there's lots of crap on my download that I don't play over half of them. But
yeah.
I had all the I didn't realize I had Ascension. I got all the God of Wars plus Ascension
Dude.
online. I'm gonna have to go play it. Yes.
Yeah.
yeah,
But
that's when you can play online. Is that right?
Yeah, it's probably I don't know if I think the servers are still up, but barely anyone's playing it.
Yeah, but I was
Probably.
like, but
It's
I,
probably,
say, I
probably a
had.
good time to play
You,
that.
you could play with me, dude. My dad has my PS3.
Oh, I'll own you. Yeah, I'm sure.
Dude, that was the one online game I was really good at. I love
I
that
suck
game.
at online games. I suck at anything PvP. I really do. But
Is that what it
it's
all
different
is?
because it's God of War. No, there's a bunch of different modes. There's like capture the flag, and like even if you're not good at killing people, there's all these things you can do in the map. Like one of them, the spear falls down, and you have to like shove it into the Cyclops eye. One of them, you like turn a catapult.
Like together as a team.
Well, it can be just one guy, but it's good if you have your team helping you, like defending you.
So there are like co-op play together online stuff you can do. It's not always just versus the other people.
Yeah, well, okay, so that was in the versus map, but then there is ones where it's like a kind of a little story, not really story, but like you go through rooms and you like, it's like a time limit thing, but it really helps have people for that. I got really good at those ones. I figured
Nice.
out a way to like make it cheap because like, I won't get into it. I won't get into
Sounds
it.
like
It's
you
a
guys might have a
whole-
mandate. In
It's
the
a whole
future.
thing. Oh God.
A mandatory mandate.
That would require friending him.
Yeah.
That's true.
Oh yeah, we still haven't done that. I'll probably do that tonight. Or
Yeah,
maybe
you
I'll
guys should
I'll let
become-
you do it.
You
Become
send
real
me
friends.
the invite.
No, you send me the
Are you guys
invite.
Facebook friends or like Instagram or what's the other one?
So,
all those
Snapchat?
things.
Hey, Marcus, will you tell him?
Yeah, right. There's a reason why I sit between you guys.
Yeah.
So before we get too far, let's cheers because we haven't done it yet, right?
Yeah.
No, we haven't.
Okay. To all the nerds,
Through
all the fuzz.
bottoms up.
Let's get nerd buzzed.
Clankety clank. Because clearly we need more beer.
Oh, wow.
And,
That one went through
Good
my
call.
nose.
Yeah. So before we get too much further, because I'm sure you're enjoying our beautiful faces as large as you can get them, please shrink the screen and hit subscribe. If you want to leave a comment, that's awesome. Totally fuels our nerd fire. And if you were not lucky enough to make it out to the pub 282, we might come back
I would hope so. That
and
was
get
fun.
some free shirts. You can go to patreon.com/nerdbuzzed, donate $35 or more, and get a t-shirt plus some stickers and a magnet.
Yep.
And you, as always, go to nerdbuzz.com and you can watch or listen to any episode 100% free, as opposed to.
Any other percentage free.
That's right.
And how much for the hoodies?
How much for the hoodies? I only have one hoodie. If you go, I'll tell you what. If you go on to Patreon and donate $35 and you specify that you want the hoodie because it's only a large, I'll give you the hoodie. $35, same price.
Wow.
Yeah, but I only got one large. We're going to resupply our shirts, but there you go. To do it, Cody. His poor part-time job. Ask your mom, Cody. Ask for that allowance advance or something. We love you. So now let's move on, and we're just going to talk about Blade Runner.
Blade Runner.
And drink more beer.
As a kid, I always imagined Blade Runner would be this crazy action movie because the name is Blade Runner. So I figured, oh, dude, like laser
Boy,
swords.
were you surprised?
Did you imagine
Surprised.
like something to do with like people with like ice skates on?
No, I imagine, but I imagine
Wow.
a lot of
No, I did not.
sword combat, like he was just running around.
Oh, that kind of
slicing
Blade.
people
Oh,
up.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Blade Runner.
I was expecting dudes in like unitards with sequins
No,
in
what?
like after a hockey game. No? Okay.
No.
Watched a little too much of the volleyball scene from Top Gun.
It's my favorite scene in that movie. It's the
I'm
best.
sure it is. He wants some butts.
Yeah.
Playing with the boys.
But you.
Oh, yeah, there's a lot of facts on this sheet.
There are. Should I run through them?
Yeah.
So the original Blade Runner was released in 1982 and had a budget of $28 million. It's a Ridley Scott film, and he has personally said, according to Wikipedia and other sources I found, that he considers it his most completed work. The other thing that he's done that I am a huge fan of is Alien,
Which was amazing.
I love it. The first Alien movie
Alien
is
was
like
awesome. I mean, who was my woman of the year or our top female protagonist?
Ripley.
Exactly.
Yeah. It is really good. I encourage people to go check out Alien. The original Alien. It's the one that's the most. It's hard to find a better, I think, horror, sci-fi, like thriller movie like that. Like it is the one that made that mold.
Yeah.
And a lot of
I gotta
movies
say-
try and mimic it. Like Life came out recently. I didn't see it, but it looked like what I think Alien was.
Totally. Well, and even that one is like with a crew, which I guess
Yeah.
Alien starts out with, but it quickly becomes this scary movie because she's alone by herself in space, and the only other thing there is an alien.
I gotta say though. I had a
Oh,
huge
the
crush on
thing.
her.
The
Crush
thing
on-
as well.
Yeah,
Oh yeah.
Or when did that actually?
except that's not in space.
No, yeah.
But I mean, like the same concept of scary alien. Except I love the thing.
And balls in your mouth.
And balls. I'm on ball 2 now.
Wow.
So it's loosely based on the 1968 novel "Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep," which is by Philip K. Dick.
I did not
Hey,
know
don't
that.
swear.
I didn't know that either. Yeah, that's not. Sorry, Philip
another
K.
name for Richard.
Yeah, I would.
I was
I'm
proud of
assuming
that one.
even last names. Do you think his
No,
last
no,
name?
his
last name
name
is
is-
Dick.
yeah.
yeah. No, it's not Richard.
Yeah.
It's only a first name thing.
Philip K. Dongle.
We don't nickname our last. I'm not even gonna play that game.
So I wonder if he's a
okay?
detective then,
Maybe. Who
or
knows?
somebody in his family was.
He was at some point.
Either that or just way too nosy.
Yeah. Or maybe he's a dick. I don't know him personally, so I can't say. So, again, it's one of those. I think, like Alien, it's this movie that set a standard and really like formed this mold that other movies started to expand on.
Yeah.
And in classic fashion, because of that, it really released to really mixed reviews, and a lot of people didn't really care for it. They liked certain aspects of it, but they really thought it was slow. It really would really drag on. It was really based a lot on mood of the scene and cinematography, which I know is
Which is
something.
something I loved about it.
Yeah, we've mentioned it several times on the show that's something that I think that modern and current movies is really lacking.
Oh, it's completely lost, but I don't think it would work anymore either.
And that's something we'll see, right, with the new one, right? I'm curious about that. So it's also a little interesting side note that I discovered. It was one of the first movies to be converted to DVD.
Oh,
So I thought that was kind of cool.
nice.
wow.
And there have been 7 different versions of the movie that have been made, and only other than the original, the 25th anniversary edition is the only one that Ridley Scott had artistic control over. So, do we want to, before I jump into any facts about the new one, do we want to talk about the old one
Yeah.
at all?
Yeah.
Let's do it. Let's do it. We'll transition as we go.
So I tried to watch it a long time ago. It was during the school year, so I was like doing a lot of school stuff, obviously, and I was trying to like do homework and watch it at the same time. And
No,
I
it's a movie you gotta sit
yeah,
down
you
and
need to, like-
watch it.
Yeah, and I watched it with my dad last night, and it was the first time I watched it, I was like, it's too much.
Quickly, what did you watch it on?
My PS4, and I think it was
No, with the first time.
PS4. Or
Didn't he just talk about watching it the first time as though it happened a long time ago? Or am I
No,
did I
that was
mishear
me.
you?
like I watched like a little bit of it, but then I finished it the first time last night.
Okay.
The first time I watched it, when I watched just a little, I thought it was like I was a little too overwhelmed by like the how do you, what was it called, the neo noir sci-fi,
Yeah.
where it was just everything was like all the buildings were like obscenely big, and there were like everything was obscenely gray, but then there was all that like neon lights. I'm like, this is just too much. But I realized that like that's how it started. So I really have to give a lot of respect for like those kind of environments that I see. Maybe like a little toned down. I'm trying to think of any, because now it's all about the post-apocalypse, right?
Yeah.
But it's really fresh to be like the kind of the opposite of post-apocalypse, where everything's like really big and bright and shiny, or not shiny but drab, but like I don't know.
Although I would say though that I think almost in like the Star Wars kind of fashion, this is a broken future.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
In Blade Runner, it's not a shiny future. Things are not polished. There's a lot of older technology that's in the movie,
Like the
that's-
TVs.
Yeah, right. They're like old, like even older than maybe at the current time. That's what TVs were in the 80s and 82. I'm sure they were, but they just look. They didn't do anything to fancy those things up. They just gave them more elements to them. Like everything's been like refurbished. I guess it's
Like,
like
you
a
think that-
refurbished future. Not
I almost
reinvented.
imagine that that's what you see because everyone is like dirt poor, or not dirt poor, but like they're not as privileged as everyone else.
Yeah.
And
Could be.
Unlike the one when he goes to the, I'm gonna totally
Tyrell. I
Tyrell
remembered it
group.
because of Game of Thrones.
You're gonna hate one of my major keep going though.
Yeah. Well, when he goes to them and meets that main dude, like that's almost like this, like a palace.
Yeah.
Like the way it's set up. So you can see the wealth in those people.
Yeah.
While the streets are just filled with like traffic jams and slums and prostitutes and
Lots
like,
of
peddlers on the
lots
streets.
of rain.
Yeah.
I was surprised by that.
And it's never daytime.
Yeah, you almost think it's like the pollution, like at the
That's what I
beginning when
thought,
there's those
too.
like fires going
Yeah.
like through the big smokestacks.
Yeah. Very dystopian.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is one thing I think that I appreciated about another movie that we both like is The Fifth Element.
Yeah.
And that's something that I thought drawed from this for the lot.
Oh, for sure. There's this really you can see Fifth Element took a lot of inspiration
Yes.
from Blade Runner, for sure.
Exactly.
Yeah, I think it's more like this. Blade Runner is almost like this reinterpreted '80s movies of like the '50s or something, right? Because it is much more noir kind of style. And I would almost think that I don't know what year Fifth Element came out. I can't remember. It's like 90 something,
It was
right?
like 94, I think.
To me, that almost feels like it's like the '90s version of an '80s movie.
Yeah.
Right? It's like it does the same thing, but it totally is. When you see it, it's like this is such a cheeseball, like, 80s kind of movie, but it's totally been revamped.
I love that movie.
It's really, really good. It is. And again, because I watched it recently, I think it would be tougher to go back and appreciate.
I did the same.
Not unlike Blade Runner.
I did the same thing with Boondocks, but I still love Boondocks.
Yeah. It's a nostalgia.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm really trying to decide how I feel about Blade Runner. I mean, I liked it, but it's like everyone's like, "Oh, it is like the best," and I'm like, I mean, it's good, but I don't know. There's just a couple things that bugged me. What was one of them? I mean, this isn't a flaw in the movie, but like when
97. Sorry.
what?
Yeah. So it is
Oh.
later. Yeah.
When Decker and the android girl, or she's in his apartment for the second time, she's trying to leave, and he's like, "No," and he's like,
That's a weird scene.
"Yeah." I'm like, what is what it? I'm like, I don't get it. And then I'm like, did he like make her love him? Is that how they think?
Yeah. I thought that too. It's like, I don't know how I feel about this scene.
Yeah.
Right? It's borderline a rape scene.
Yeah. It
really
it's
is.
like,
It seriously is.
oh,
like
my
it's
dad.
like
My dad kept saying something, and I was like, oh my god, I forgot what he kept saying, but it was really funny. The next thing that kind of bugged me is why, if the replicants are treated like slaves, if they're viewed as obviously less than human, if there is a possibility of them, gaining consciousness and escaping, why didn't they make the replicants look like robots or something, or look not like humans? Like, why do they have to be perfect copies where it'd be like you'd have to take this weird test to find out?
But I also think that's like the human condition, right? Is to like
Why?
to make something that emulates yourself and try to
Oh, I guess
like you're trying to emulate you and God pretty much, right? And trying to facilitate that role
now
yourself.
I'm thinking about like actual robots that we are making look like humans, but at the same time, it's like
we are
if you
actually
want
doing.
a service
Yeah.
robot, just make like
I gotta do
autonomous
this. I'm sorry.
cranes. Like what are cranes gonna do?
We asked you.
How are
I know, and I even did, but I have to do it again. Bonus.
how are autonomous like factory machines gonna rebel? Just stop working? Well, then just replace them.
No,
But, like,
they wouldn't. But the other AIs would develop, become conscious and then reprogram them to be to their side.
But like, if I don't know, just the idea of having humans or human-like things that can do things humans can, it's like, that creates a lot of problems.
Of course it does. And why? I mean, okay, so you got current day. You have a current day accord, a written document right now. This exists that main researchers and people are signing, saying that hey, we understand that AI could eventually take us over,
Yeah,
and they're trying to take steps against that.
I just
Maybe I shouldn't open that.
Oh
Yeah.
no, go ahead and leave it open, dude. It's fine.
It's fine. A little background noise is okay.
I just I don't get why it needs to be like if they could put it in a situation where it's basically immobile, and like I could develop conscious, but what's it gonna do, right? It's not gonna hunt us down and shoot guns at us. But now it's like
Could. Why couldn't it?
like
I mean, the whole idea behind it is once it becomes self-aware, it can make its own decisions. Once it makes its own decisions, it can choose its own future.
But it's harder to do that if it's like designed to just be a service machine, like autonomous cranes. If a crane rebels, what's it gonna do? It's probably gonna kill like one person, but then you like, all right, go back to the drawing board, kill that thing. It's dead. Like it's like you can easily kill a crane, just blow it up, reprogram it, do whatever. But like a human, it's like they can escape, they can run, and they're made better than us, right? They're the future.
Exactly.
So it's like, then why are we treating them like, I don't know. That confused me. And then what was the last thing? Oh, the end of the movie? I was like, what is happening? He's like wolf howling. He stabs himself. I don't know if that's like a whole like Jesus thing. And then he's like chasing Decker and he's hurting him, but he's not killing him. And then he doesn't kill him. And I'm like,
but I also think the point of the movie is that it's a struggle. It's a struggle for the replicants to be recognized by humans while they're also just recently recognizing themselves as something other than robots, right?
yeah.
And I don't think they want to be necessarily bad, but it's the way they get attention, right? And I mean, it's like a child, right? Like the way you first learn to get attention is to be a little pain in the ass.
Oh.
And so, right? So I think it's probably pretty similar for these replicants. It's like, to get recognized and people to pay attention to us, we have to cause a scene. Hence the uproar and all the people they killed to just even come back to Earth, because there aren't replicants even allowed on Earth.
Yeah.
So,
or wasn't it like just the 6 ones?
I don't even know. They came back, at least in the beginning when it talks about in the little dialogue at the beginning, the text, it says that there's no replicants allowed.
Yeah, the Blade
on
Runner's
Earth.
job is to hunt all replicants.
Blade Runner.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought it was just like the Model 6. Okay.
Yeah, I think it's all of them. Yeah, they are designated as soldiers outside of it. But I also think another reason why it makes sense to take a human form for them, like whether or not they look like robots, like more mechanical than actual human, but I think it makes sense for them to take a human form because if the robots for some reason can't do their job, a human can now come in and still do the job because they are the same form as the robot.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah, it makes sense.
Like, what if we're suddenly building like 20 million armed robots that can just run all these things or do whatever, just do it all digitally or whatever, right? You can't now stick a human in that machine and have him run the controls, right?
Yeah.
So I could see that actually, that
All
could
right.
be a problem that might come up. It's like, well, crap, all the robots died and nobody can run the machines because they don't have an input or an output.
Yeah. All right. That makes sense.
I don't know. That's my 2 cents.
Yeah.
Again, it's a crazy, weird, effed up movie,
Yeah.
and none of it's based on reality. So, I think the movie, I think the
music.
original response is adequate. I do think the movie kind of struggles with some pacing issues, for sure. It's really, really slow. I think the whole movie takes place. Is it like 2 nights, maybe like 2 days? Like it's
Makes
not a
sense.
very long period of time that the movie happens in. Because he finds those replicants pretty quickly, and then I think he goes to sleep twice, maybe.
Yeah. Both times he's like wasted, I think.
Yeah, no, he has a drinking problem.
yeah.
For sure.
But I love how I love the character too. He's like, I love how he can just suddenly be like, hey, I'm the guy from the like workers agency. Are they mistreating you here? And he's like totally acting like some kind of like just nice guy, but he's also like, you know, really like attracted to this chick and is really awkward around her.
Yeah.
I like
I
how
thought
he
that was
can
one
put
of the
on those
most
different-
awkward scenes of the movie.
Yeah,
That scene was
but
really
he
weird.
played it really well.
Yeah.
because he was like getting into the character. Like he's a good Blade Runner.
Yeah, for sure.
Except when there were a couple times, and I'm like, why? What are you doing, man?
Well, I really,
When that chick was running from him, that first replicant he killed, and he like pulls his gun out in the middle of a crowded street, just bang, bang, bang. And then, but he gets her, and no one dies. I guess.
well, and then he just shows him his little card, and he's off the hook.
Yeah.
They don't question him or anything about it. Well, and I really actually enjoyed that he's not an action hero.
Yeah.
Like he's not at all. He's this old cop who's being forced to come out of retirement, right? Like he's done. He's already retired. Doesn't want to do that anymore, but he's the best at what he did. So they force him to come back in. They pretty much his hands are tied. He doesn't have a choice.
Yeah.
And,
Just
and he
sleazy
sells it
police
as that.
officer.
Yeah,
Yeah.
totally does. Like he's questioning what his occupation was to begin with anyway, and what's going on with the replicants and
Yeah.
all that. So, but again, for anything that's like groundbreaking and kind of establishes its own mold, I think that you really have to push boundaries with it and do things that other movies haven't really done yet and embrace those things. And I do think this movie does that.
Oh,
Like,
definitely.
It totally embraces what it is. I think sometimes it goes a little too far into the artsy part of it.
Yeah.
But I think you have to look at it more as like groundbreaking and an art piece again.
Yeah.
Right? It really is.
A lot of it isn't shown. Like a lot of it is kind of like shown, but it's not told. Like you have to kind of get inside the minds of these characters. Like what you were just saying about how he doesn't like his job. Like if you're just kind of watching it, it might be a little hard to tell. But the more you think about it, the more you think about the way he acts, what he does, instead of being like, I hate my job, I want to be off the force. It's not like there's a couple times when he kind of says that, but you have to really get into who?
What was it?
Every cop movie.
Oh
ever.
no, that 30-minute movie surfing back into the future.
Kung Fury.
Yes.
Yeah.
It was totally the voice you pulled off.
But like so much of it is below the surface, and it's really
for sure.
deep.
Well, and I think that's something that movies are lacking today.
Yeah.
Things are so spelled out for you today.
It's like, don't treat me like an idiot.
yeah.
I want to watch it again and be like, oh my god, I didn't even know that, right?
And it is totally a movie I think that you can't just watch one time.
Yeah, I need to watch it again because there's things
like-
I'm like, I don't understand.
It's like one of the things that I like about Kevin Smith movies is he's writing for the one person who gets the joke.
Yeah. For the fan.
Yeah, but I mean, you got a theater full of people, only one person's laughing. He's writing for that one person that's laughing.
Yeah.
And if you look at unfortunately, one of my favorite ones, which is Mallrats, because it still has a ton of
I like that one.
subtle humor in there, but he was directed and guided to write for everybody in that one. Because like he'd write something and then in the studio would come back and say, well, maybe you want to do this, and like, well, why not? Because you want everybody to laugh.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's like, okay, so I hate saying I like that's one of my favorite ones, but it really is one of my favorite ones. And it's because of that. And
That's the first one that introduced me to him.
oh, was it?
Was
No.
Mallrats was the first one I ever saw.
I was totally Clerks for me.
No. I pursued Clerks after.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I watched Mallrats first. I thought it was funny. I watched it a long time ago.
It was the one I didn't like it as much as I do now, but it's the one I go back to and I really like that one a lot.
Yeah.
That one and Jay and Bob.
That's really good too. Yes.
I never watched those ones. Aren't they making a new one again for the?
Yes, Jay and Silent Bob reboot.
Yeah.
Nice.
Oh, okay.
Of course it's
Oh,
a
and
reboot,
that's right. You were talking about it on one of the things I was on, or one of the Nerdbuzzed I was on.
Yeah.
They like to make fun of reboots.
But I gotta say, as far as you guys are talking about this stuff, like a lot of the subtle stuff you were talking about, I'm not getting, because last time I saw this movie, it was on VHS only.
Well, and I almost wish I could. Again, it's like
and you remember a lot. Wow.
yeah. Again, it's like the episode we did with Van, and I'm already forgetting the movie, where we did Sucker Punch
THX,
and THX. I think THX and this movie have a lot of similar qualities as far as tone goes.
Oh,
Like,
yes.
and just they're
I think THX
they're meant
is
to be
a little slower though, even.
yeah,
wow.
right. But a lot of it is done through the cinematography and through the
Yes.
scenes and the scene transitions and the way it's in the mood of the movie rather than the dialogue.
Yes.
And I think it says a lot for this movie that you can see so much of Blade Runner and so many other movies that are blockbusters.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Right? Like it really did establish a mold for what that kind of futuristic sort of movie is like. I mean, not unlike Star Wars or other movies that have kind of done that same thing, which I'm sure this totally took from that also, was inspired by those things. But I think it's great. I think it has its own special place, and it's a unique spot, which I give it a lot of credit for. So there's not a lot of movies that fall into its own
But
kind
it's
of
like
unique
when you
category.
compare it to the Star Wars is definitely more of the holding your hand through what's going on.
Star Wars is.
Yes.
Yes, for sure. That's more everyday man, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I imagine before Blade Runner
Must be
came
why
out,
I like
it's
it so much.
it's like video games where people are like, video games can't be art, and they're like science fiction movies, right? They can't be art. Science
Bull
fiction
crap.
is just. But yeah, and then I bet Blade Runner came out and like it introduced all these snobby people to be like, oh wow, that's
art.
that's different. It's
Yeah.
not like
But,
pew
like-
pew action. It's like has something to say. It has a lot to tell you. You need to watch it like 20 times to even get what the last like 20 minutes of the movie were. I'm still like
The whole movie, really. I mean, the movie is just I think it's great. I really do think it needs to be considered
My
more of this as this
toys.
art piece than it is just an action flash in your face.
Yeah, it's not an action movie. You don't watch it for the action scenes. You watch it for the character.
Yeah.
Well, I don't even know what you
And the
watch it for.
cinematography and
Yeah.
the theme and the mood and
Music,
like all of
I
it.
really like the music. Fits very well.
It totally does.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
very the levels are way off, and that kind of drives me nuts. I was trying to watch the last time I watched this while my wife was sleeping next to me in bed, and so I kept having to turn it up for
Yeah.
the dialogue and then turn it down for all the other scenes
Oh,
because they were so
Yeah.
the levels were
that's
so off.
That's a common thing though of your 80s movies. A lot of your
Yeah.
action scenes and a lot of your other stuff would be a lot louder. They would just like, it's like how do you sell this as an action scene? Check the volume.
Yeah.
How do we sell this as a dialogue scene? Oh, just make it inaudible.
Yeah,
You're gonna need those subtitles.
we don't want it to emphasize the audio anyway, so
The dialogue, it is the most important part of the movie, kind of. But so let's just turn that down.
yeah.
Yeah. What?
You really gotta listen. Yeah. Bring them in. Make them really pay attention.
Yeah, I do think it's something that everybody should watch though, and they should. You really need to go into it without any preconceived notions and just enjoy it for what it is.
Yeah.
It's one of those movies. It totally is.
That's kind of funny. Sorry, we just brought up THX 1135. I think it was. Or 38.
People are gonna hate us. 48, 38,
38.
38.
Yeah, THX 1138.
Just THX. Just call
Yeah,
it that. and we're
THX,
safe.
yes.
Yeah.
Wait, so we're talking about that. Have you seen Black Mirror?
Yes, I watched Black Mirror before.
Black
It was
Mirror
cool.
Dude, Black Mirror was so.
Twilight Zone, but better.
Say, Black
No,
Mirror
that's
was.
a TV series, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's on
Yeah,
Netflix.
It was so influenced by THX.
And yeah, it's very
Wait,
much
really?
this like
Yeah.
I'll
and
watch it
Twilight Zone.
Yeah.
Yeah, one element of THX is an episode of Black Mirror. Black Mirror is like a British.
I don't know how. I've only seen like 4 episodes of Black Mirror.
Just
Yeah,
think Twilight
but-
Zone, how they have all those bad episodes, or the occasional good one. Now take that good one, turn it up way a lot, and that's every episode.
and
of Black
modernize the hell out of
Mirror.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Right.
very modern.
And
Yeah.
it's all making pretty obvious statements about technology, but like it makes you think about it, right?
Mhm.
Yeah, like one of the clearest ones was the where the girl has her social media like rating
Yeah.
and everything, and there's no currency anymore. Everything's based on your social media rating. So anybody you interact with, you want to get a like 5-star rating from them because
Oh.
it keeps you rated at
Yeah.
5-star people are like the elite class.
Yeah.
And then all it takes is one bad interaction with somebody, and they give you a 1-star, and you've gone from 5 to like 4.5 now. And that
Oh,
like
jeez.
that now suddenly you're in the slow line. You don't get first class on the airplane. Like it degrades you. It's societally, right?
It's really cool.
That was a really cool and kind of eye opener episode. But there's a bunch of them that were kind of like that.
Yeah.
The one with the black dude in the glass to his throat. That's the one that I was-
Yeah.
That one,
yeah.
That's the one that I was totally thinking of THX with.
you know, I
Oh,
love.
totally, yeah.
My favorite one is White Christmas with John Hamm, the one all about like AI. Oh, it kind of relates to this because it's talking like the whole thing is like
Nice. Bring it full
do-
circle.
Do AI like are they like real people? And it makes you really like sympathize for these artificial intelligence because they're treated like garbage, right? It's such a
Have you
depressing
seen Ex
episode.
Machina?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which again, though, is kind of like this. I think it's less about the robots as it is us more trying to emulate God or a creator. And it's like how many people have
Well, of course
issues?
we
How
are.
many people have issues with God? But here we are being assholes to these things
So
that
of
we've
course
I
created.
think
we
it's
are.
right?
because the
like,
proof that like
I mean,
we are God, like
the
we
fact-
have transcended.
the fact that I personally believe we created a god.
yeah,
We've created this
to each his
situation.
own.
Like American gods.
You know, so of course people are gonna take that and try to be
Yeah.
a god.
Yeah, and you're creating something again in your own image, which is the classic thing that God
Oh,
did,
okay.
right? You're creating
Yeah.
something in your own
So
image.
it is to Tyrell. It was like his children. All right,
Yeah,
we should
totally.
talk about
Let's talk.
the
Let's
new one.
transition
First
to the new one.
thing I want to note about the new one is the tone. I was for some reason just seeing the still image of Ryan Gosling's face. I'm like, no, it's gonna be like a lot of cars blowing up or whatever. But it looks slow, methodical. The music, I love the sounds it produces. Weird, like tone, like
I haven't seen any
Yeah.
previews for it yet.
ooh, like the tone looks the
looks good.
same. It looks a bit cleaner though.
It does. It's
it
a little
better.
more polished, right?
Which I
better.
don't know how to feel about. I mean, like, okay, but we
Well,
did,
let me
a lot
run
of
through
it
my
was
fact
in like
list.
the Tyrell building.
Yes.
So, and that was the cleanest part of
Yeah.
Blade Runner. So,
Well, let's run through the fact list real quick.
Yeah.
Because we're going to talk about what we think of the new one. It takes place 30 years after the first movie. Same people, same everything, but 30 years later. It comes out the 6th, this coming Friday. It's directed by somebody new. It's not by Ridley Scott. Help me out, Jack. Denis Villeneuve.
Well, if it's
French.
Two L's would be V. Yeah.
Well, I was thinking Spanish because the double L.
It would be yeah.
Villeneuve.
Yeah, he's a Canadian director.
Villeneuve.
French-Canadian director.
Nico.
He's also going to direct the Dune reboot, which I think
read
is
Dune.
appropriate for if you're doing Blade Runner, you might as well do Dune.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. But
movies
Ridley
will flow.
Scott did have a lot of heavy influence as the producer of the movie, so he was involved. Another commonality between the two is that Hampton Fancher. He wrote both of the screenplays for the movie, co-wrote both the
good.
screenplays, and he's writing the script for this one. So he's more heavily involved with the writing, which is good. And it's going to star Ryan Gosling, Harrison Ford, and Jared Leto, who plays somebody that's blind in the movie, and he actually went as far to wear contacts that blinded him during the filming of the movie. So he's a super method actor. He kind of scares me when he's in movies now, especially since his rendition of the Joker.
Hated his Joker.
Yeah, right. Nobody has anything good to say about his Joker. But the first one went from $28 million budget to now this one is $185 million budget.
But I feel like that's not the. That's
You
not,
know who?
That's not this massive jump, I guess,
Yeah.
considering the amount of time that's
You know
gone
who
by.
a good method actor is?
Who?
Daniel Day-Lewis.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Who's the guy that? Mad Max. Who is he? That guy. Mad Max.
The
Bane.
newest one.
Yeah, he's a pretty good method actor. Like he went crazy for.
Did he
Mad
fully
Max.
do that?
Yeah, like he got like into it.
Wow. I didn't know that.
I wonder, does that make you a better actor, though? Like, if you
I
have to
thi-
be
if
that
you can
much of a
get in the
character
mind
when
of
you're
your
not...
character, like that's a really good thing because then it makes the performance more believable.
Yeah, I'm not saying it's not a
I'm
good
saying,
thing on camera, but
I
does
think
that make
Daniel
you a better actor?
I think Daniel Day-Lewis does an amazing job with every role he's done, so
Yeah, yeah.
I'm going to say yes.
I actually I have a lot of
I mean,
hope for.
I hated There Will Be Blood,
Yeah.
but I loved
I
his
liked it.
portrayal of that character.
Yeah,
I mean, he was so... God, I hated him so much.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love a character that you love to hate.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, that is totally a good sign of a good actor. Somebody that can take that character you're not supposed to like and really make you hate them.
Yeah.
Right? But you love them because you hated them so much. Like that's
Exactly.
not
Yeah.
something that's easy to do.
I actually have a lot of hope for Jared Leto because I really like the idea of method acting, the idea of these actors instead of just being like, I'm just gonna play like I mean just think about for any movie like a superhero movie, right? If these actors can get into their roles and really portray believable characters, I mean I don't know, I just feel like it'd make it better all around and like I hope he nails it. I really hope he nails it because I like the
I hope he
idea.
does.
Of
Well,
method
I've
acting.
seen him in other things where he does a good job. Like, and it's just, again, I think that the DC movies, I don't blame as much on the actors as I
Yeah.
do the people that are behind the scenes telling them how to act.
Yeah.
Right? Like, there's those other people that aren't in front of the camera that are saying, "Oh, that's a good shot. Take it. Let's move on to the next
Yeah.
one." That really should be reprimanded also for proving that.
Yeah.
Right? So
And I'm sure because he was in the shadow of, with the last Joker.
Heath Ledger.
Yeah, in the shadow of Heath Ledger, he's like, I need to turn it up to 11, because I mean that's kind of what Heath Ledger did. Is he took the Joker and he just turned it up, and so he's probably like, I need to do that too. even though
Well, I guess on that note, as far as the Joker is concerned, I give them all credit for doing what I think is a totally different interpretation. Because I think Jack Nicholson is my go-to standard, but again, there's loads of nostalgia there, so I'm totally
Yeah.
biased. But I think Heath Ledger did a good job of a different Joker.
Yeah.
Right? He
Yeah.
really did. And I think I guess you have to give Jared Leto credit for also doing as much of a different Joker. I just liked it.
we
way
we
less.
haven't seen much of it. Maybe with more time it'll get better. Hopefully, I have hope.
Yeah.
Hope.
Anyway, though,
Yeah.
the new Blade Runner. One thing to note about it: it's the first movie to have as long of a runtime as it's had in a really long time. Like it's pretty common for movies to go over 2 hours, but this movie is going to be 2 hours and 43 minutes, which
Almost 3 hours.
which has not happened in a movie for
What,
years now.
since Dances with Wolves?
I don't know if it's been that long, but it's been a long time. Like especially for like a blockbuster movie that's as
Yeah.
anticipated as this.
And I think Blade Runner will need it.
I hope it means that I have kind of conflicting opinions on it. I want it to be as long as it is so that it fleshes out the full amount of story that we need and nothing feels rushed. But at the same time, I don't want it to convey too much story.
Oh, it's gonna be
right?
so slow.
Like I think it's gonna be slow,
It's gonna be
but I
shot
hope
in
it's
slow motion.
I hope
too.
it's because there's a lot of cinematic stuff in it, right, and cinematography in it, which I know I don't have his name here, but the cinematographer is a pretty reputable cinematographer, and he's been nominated a crap load of times, and I think he's been like yet to win the awards, so they're thinking this could be the one that does it for him.
Gotcha.
But he's recognized as a really well-known cinematographer, so
Nice.
which I think the movie needs for sure.
Yeah.
And I have to say right away, if you watched our Red Dead episode for the trailer, I was totally cool with that not being about John Marston. It's about somebody else, and they're kind of going a new direction with it. It's not it's not just like this reskinned thing. I love that it's not a reboot.
Gotcha.
I love that
Yes.
it's just continuing.
Finally.
it's going to continue from it. It's going to do, and so I think because of that, and because it takes place 30 years later, it can look a little cleaner, right? Because the first one is a version of our future from the 80s standpoint. This can be a version of our future from the 2000s standpoint,
like,
right? So
Yeah.
like, I think that's okay.
Like the
I'm okay
Tick,
with
where it kind of evolves with.
yes,
Yeah.
I think that's less okay,
Right.
but
Well,
yes.
that made me a little
I kind
more
of hope that.
Nice. So I did it back
Yeah.
to you, huh? Nice.
back again.
I'm gonna say the way you're talking there. That's exactly what I want to see him do with Firefly.
Are they rebooting Firefly?
No,
Oh.
they're not. I want them to, but I
Yeah.
don't want them to bring the original cast back anymore.
Yeah.
Other than for
I mean,
cameos.
would you rather like a reboot or a continuation?
Continuation. I want to see a continuation.
Oh.
I want to see a new crew.
It can almost be like Rogue One, right? Where they like blow the dust off the junk ship, and it is Serenity.
Yeah,
Right?
exactly.
Somebody else like resurrects
that was-
it. and
Exactly.
does
That
whatever.
was in Force Awakens. You dang
Or
it.
Force Awakens.
Yeah.
Sorry. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, but no, I seriously want to see that.
Forgive my nerd faux pas.
Yeah. Oh my god. Okay, I quit. I'm not fired.
You
I
can't
quit.
quit. You're fired.
Go.
But no, seriously, I want to see a new crew, new group, and then I want to see like the other characters have cameos.
Yeah.
You know, like show up when
Like one a season or something. You think?
maybe one every fourth episode even,
Yeah.
but something.
Because you know they're not working a lot right now.
No,
Yeah. A couple of them
I say
are.
Nathan Fillion is. We know that
K2SO.
Anara
Yeah.
Sefer, whatever her name
Yeah,
is,
yeah.
she is.
The luxury prostitute.
Yes.
Yeah. Escort. Sorry.
I think Katie's doing something.
Yeah, they might be. They could afford to come back.
No, who
though,
was
right? Yeah.
K2SO? He was in Firefly, wasn't he?
K2SO.
The guy that that was from Rogue One. The blonde-haired guy.
Yes, he was. He was the
Yeah.
pilot.
Yeah. Wash.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
But
never watched it.
Every time I saw Firefly, I always thought, dude, you're so lucky that you sang that chick. Right? Like, that guy was such a dorky, dweeby guy, but
yes, but
his
he
chick was
totally
badass.
acknowledges that
Yeah.
in the show.
Yeah. No, that's a great show.
He's
also.
like, how did I ever end up with you?
Yeah.
I'm not complaining.
Yeah,
But
totally. It's true. I'm really, really excited to go see the new Blade Runner. I want to say it's one of the movies that has the most pressure on it. It really does.
Yeah, because
Like,
it's
as far
going
as-
against itself.
Which I think is huge
Yeah,
that it's
exactly.
not a reboot. It really
Good
is.
call.
And again, that's what else do you compare it to, right?
Yeah,
Like, that's what you have to
nothing
compare
really
it to.
probably did it as good as Blade Runner. Like, I've never seen a film more like deep in where you have to kind of get inside people's heads as Blade Runner, and it's very methodical. It's very like slow but deliberate, and
Yeah. And it's
different.
it's so saturated within its own lore that its biggest competition is itself. That's what we said about Guardians of the Galaxy. The second one, its biggest competition was the first one.
yeah, exactly.
And it has to be different, but it's like Metal Gear, like we talked about on the earlier on this episode. You have to find a way to make something that caters to the fan, which is what you're making this film for. You're making it
Yeah,
for
exactly.
the fans. But at the same time, you have to find a way to make that fresh and new and not just reskin the same movie, but satisfy that core audience, and also make it something that's going to be a hit in the theaters.
The thing about Blade Runner is that it's probably going to be so hyped that this modern audience that probably hasn't seen the first one maybe will go into it and hate it because Blade Runner, I don't think is a movie that really fits in this time, right? It's
No.
very slow.
No, that's what we were talking about. Was how slow
but
it
like
is.
if they change it to make it fit the modern time, it's gonna lose what it had. And then even if it's a great movie, maybe like respectively better than Blade Runner was, right? Like somehow, even if it's like faster or whatever, people won't like it because it's not the original Blade Runner.
It's a weird balancing
So
act
like,
they really
how
have
are
to
they?
do.
I wonder how they're gonna do that, and if they'll just.
But like you were talking about the Mad Max actor, Fury Road, I think, is such a phenomenal example of what fans of Mad Max want, but at the same time appealing to like a modern audience.
Yeah. Well, I think
in my opinion, I think it's better than Thunderdome.
It's better than I like it.
Like I like Thunderdome, but by that point, Mad Max has gotten campy. Like it knew what it was, and it was appealing to the audience now. And like I felt like the newer Fury Road kind of less did that. It almost stepped back to more of that original.
I don't think you can really
Max.
compare it to Thunderdome. I think you have to compare it to Road Warrior. I think it's the evolution of Road Warrior.
But again, so that kind of proves my point, though, that it is that awesome step back to the roots of what Mad Max was.
At the same time,
my favorite Mad Max is the first one.
And again, that is in this era, though, of like that art piece. That is a weird French
so
art
slow,
film. Of like,
exactly.
It was French?
I don't know.
No,
That's
it was
what I
not.
always think. It's like
It's
weird
Australian.
French art
It's
films.
very British and Australian.
Yeah.
With an American actor.
Mix.
But anyway,
Oh, they know so much.
But the bottom line is, I have high expectations for it. I think it has the appropriate ingredients to come out with something pretty stellar and awesome. Critics are raving about it so far.
That's good.
So I'm stoked for that. And we're going to go see it.
definitely.
So we will report back on what we actually thought of the new one.
Yeah.
And
Maybe we could. Well, my dad wants to see it with us.
have them on. Maybe it'll be your first.
Yeah.
You can be the first soundboard episode
Yeah.
with Jack,
I'll make you proud. We'll see. I'll talk to him
the
about
official
it.
intern.
Yeah, if we can
All
do
right.
it.
Me and Jay will talk about it. And
Yeah.
We'll see if we think you're worthy of that. And
Oh, I thought you were going to
everything.
talk about my dad.
Oh. No, your dad's approved.
Yeah.
We already offered him
Oh,
the job,
wow.
but he's too
well,
busy.
Tell
so.
me the cheese lady going.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Well, I think the cheese will be ready by November. December.
If it's not, tune in.
We
You
get
plenty
I get
more
high end
here.
cheese.
Yeah.
Even though I'm like middle class.
So, played Metal Gear Solid 5
Yes.
because it is phenomenal, and
It
it's
is.
And
it's-
maybe Amnesia
my mind
too.
is blown. What?
'Cause the Amnesia games are coming out. That was like a big deal a few years
It's like
ago.
so off topic.
I mean, but those are the new free games.
Okay. Oh
Yeah.
yeah. The other we've told everybody download all the free games.
Yes.
You know, okay, don't download them all, but at least use the app
Put
and
them in
go
your
in and
cart.
purchase them all.
This is going to be a good month for PSN.
I think so too.
Like comparatively to I saw a comparison of like the Xbox One Gold thing and
And they always do that.
PSN blows it out of the
Yeah.
water this month.
Oh, dude, PSN's routinely blows that out of the water.
Yeah.
Because like
that Xbox.
MGS
my
5
roommate,
is
he's
huge,
got
Yeah,
freaking-
for free.
right? I literally blew
And,
my mind. When you
yeah.
told me that, because I hadn't looked it up yet, I thought, no, really? that is such an insanely good game that I think that's one of those games that if you own a PlayStation 4, you should own that game.
exactly.
You totally need to own that game, and now
Actually-
everybody can.
Actually, when we first started this, we sold a couple of PlayStation 4s because of that.
Yeah, there you go.
Nice.
So download it, people. Play it. Please let us know what you think of it, because if you have any questions about it before you download it and you don't think it's worthy, maybe you could listen to our first episode where we talk about some highlights from it, and it was our game of the year for 2015.
Yep.
I'm excited to blow the dust off it and play it again.
I'm excited to dust off my woozy my woozy rifle.
Yeah, right. Totally.
That
All
was-
that stuff.
That was my favorite thing to do. Just go in and clear a whole map, and what was that? The balloon thing.
Yeah. The Vulcan. No.
No.
What is the thing where you transport him?
I don't know, but
Back to your
it
base.
looks fun. That
was
game
fun.
looks really fun.
Yeah, but yeah, the whole balloon amount thing.
Yeah.
Oh, and
that
now
was
I get
fun.
it for
And mine is like a warp thing now. It doesn't even
Yeah,
balloon.
yeah,
it's
same
just
here.
wormhole.
Mine's a
Yeah.
wormhole, exactly.
Which is where the new whatever thing
what
comes
year
in.
does it take place?
He's got a robotic arm and a robotic eye, and
Isn't
like,
it a
come on.
prequel to like the original Metal Gear?
I think it
It's
takes.
before
I think it
Snake's
takes
time.
place like 5 years
'Cause
before Blade Runner.
Big. Does he play as Big Boss or
So
Liquid?
okay, there's been a big boss.
Big
in,
Boss
like,
is Snake's dad.
There's like been what 4 big bosses?
Oh,
I don't know. There's so much weird.
So the first
Metal Gear
the first
lore.
big boss was a guy.
yeah.
That was the very first Metal Gear.
Yeah.
And the second big boss was the same guy, I think.
And then wasn't there?
And the third big boss was a gal
The first big boss was Liquid.
Liquid.
All right, that was Liquid Snake.
in Metal Gear.
I love
in the
that
first
battle in
PlayStation 1
MGS4
one.
when you're just
Oh,
like,
that's
One.
Metal Gear Solid.
Yeah.
In Metal Gear, I think it was Big Boss. Was,
Oh yeah.
oh, the like the
was-
top down, the really pixely one.
Yes.
Yeah,
yeah.
That was a guy. And the second one was Liquid Snake. Was Big Boss. Then the next one was a gal, I think.
Oh maybe.
I love it.
And
in
then the other
MGS4,
one was a pre. Then the other one.
when you fight
Shiver.
Liquid Snake and you're just like needles, you're like, and then you like needle each other.
Yeah.
Such a dumb but awesome battle.
It's an amazing game though.
Yeah.
Download it, play it. Metal Gear is so good.
But yes, there's been several big bosses.
And I really encourage people to watch Blade Runner. I rented it on my PlayStation for $2.99. So worth it. Just do it.
Nice.
people.
Yeah, I'm going to do that.
So, one last time.
Really?
Yep.
Okay.
To all the nerds,
Throw all the fuzz.
bottoms up. Let's
get
get nerd buzzed.
Talking about beer. Talking
You're
about
talking to your face, better be up there.
culture. You're on
And please like, share, and subscribe. And coming at you live
Marcus
soon.
and Jeremiah.
Comment, Cody.
You're on Nerdbuzzed.
Again, that's where I'm headed.
Let's get Nerdbuzzed.